Okay, our next video series is going to be about vertical pulling. Now, vertical pulling is exactly what it sounds like. It's when you have your hands overhead, some sort of stacked position right here, depending on the angle, depending on what your modification is. And from here, you're going to go ahead and pull against resistance until you end up in a position like this. Sometimes it's unilateral, quite a lot of time. Vertical pulling is going to be bilateral, both sides, because a lot of times we'll be working towards a body weight row or a pull up or something like that. So something starts away like that, and you pull it in to here. Usually the range of motion is going to look like um, your palm to pit, or maybe your thumb sort of resting on the top of your chest, something like this, going back and forth like this. So I'm going to talk about a general why, then I'm going to talk about some progressions. Vertical pulling, which is when you start with your arms straight overhead, pull down towards the body, is a very useful capacity. Some people might eventually work towards a pull up where you're able to pull your whole body up to a bar using your upper body strength. This isn't going to be for everybody. This won't be interesting for everybody, but some people might see that as a goal in order to be able to do a full pull up. And if you decide that's interesting to you, that's great. That's a really good goal. Many people are going to lose full range of motion in their shoulders as they age. This could be due to injury or disuse. So it is nice to spend some time regaining your overhead position, and a stacked joint position can empower you in all sorts of ways. And it's one of those things that we forget, we don't realize we've lost it until we get older. And what you'll see is generally as people get older, maybe because of a curve in their kyphotic spine, maybe because of certain postural or structural weaknesses, could be because of injuries, could be nervous system issues, could be a bunch of things. But often what you see is that people's range of motion gets smaller and smaller and smaller until you ask people to lift their hand overhead and they do this. Or sometimes what they do is they'll make up the difference by leaning back. So it looks like their hands are overhead, but in fact, they're stuck in this position and they can't get overhead. So part of this progression is going to be about building that vertical pulling strength, but it's also going to be giving you an opportunity to stretch out, open up your shoulders, try to open up your back and see if we can regain some range of motion in a way that's not too stressful and doesn't hurt your shoulders. Um, the other nice thing about vertical pulling is it's useful for everyday life. So pulling yourself up from the ground, so pulling at that angle, reaching high shelves, even just regaining that range of motion is going to be really important for reaching high shelves. It can also help with postural muscles. And what I mean is a lot of the muscles that we use in the vertical pulling, some of those are going to be muscles that are also going to help strengthen our posture as well. So there's a lot to be said about the vertical pulling. We're going to go ahead and do a few different variations. As with all the variations, they're not necessarily going to be a linear progression. By linear progression, I mean it's not going to be step one, step two, step three, step four. It might just be finding different movements that work for you based on your own abilities, your own limitations, barriers you might have, setup, equipment, things like that. So we're going to give you different options so you can go ahead and build it up. Um, so the first variation is going to be a banded pull down, which most people should have access to some sort of anchor point that they can pull with the band. You might pull in this direction. You might pull in this direction. We'll show you the variations on that. Then it'd be nice to do some sort of leg assisted pull up. So this is the idea of getting your body up over some kind of a handle or bar or grips or something, working that full range of motion, and then using your lower body to go ahead and moderate the difficulty. So over time, we can build strength, control, stability. That's going to be a really useful one. Once you build up the strength and stability there, we can start moving on to other variations. So there's going to be some sort of negative pull up, probably some form of jumping pull up with a negative. And what that means is getting to a bar or something like that that you can't quite get up to on your own, a little bit lower, jumping up and focusing on that nice, slow, eccentric downward motion, that descent. After that, we can start working on band assisted pull ups, working towards an unassisted pull up. So, this is when you use your resistance bands to actually help you a little bit. And you can loop your foot or step in on a resistance band, attach it to an anchor point, and then have that help you get up and over. And the band assisted pull ups are going to be really complementary to the jumping pull ups because they're both going to help you on different ends. With the band assisted, it'll give you the most help at the bottom and push you up. And then when you get up to the top, you're not going to have much help there. So if you have the sticking point at the end, you can go ahead and complement that by doing some jumping pull-ups with the slow negative to build up strength in that final range of motion. It'll make sense once you get there. Um, and then we're going to go ahead and show you a few other options as well. So if a lot of the body weight stuff is inappropriate for you, we're also going to go ahead and show you a cable pull down, which is a really nice movement, and then try to give you some other ideas for how you can incorporate more vertical pulling into your life.